Routers versus switches versus hubs. What each one actually does. Walk into any server room and you'll see racks of blinking boxes with cables running everywhere. Some are routers, some are switches. And if the office is old enough, maybe a hub gathering dust. They all move data, but in completely different ways. And in 2026, these same concepts live in the cloud too. Virtual switches, software-defined routers. The fundamentals haven't changed. Let's break them down. Hubs, the dumbest device on the network. I'm not being mean. A hub is genuinely unintelligent. It's a box with multiple Ethernet ports. When a device sends data, the hub broadcasts it to every port. Every device connected to the network receives the data, whether it's meant for them or not. I love my analogies, so let's use an analogy. You in a room full of people, you want to tell Sarah something. Instead of walking over to her, you shout it to the entire room. Everyone hears it. Sarah gets the message, but so does everyone else. That's a hub. Two problems. First, it wastes bandwidth because every device processes traffic that isn't meant for it. Second, and critically from a security perspective, anyone on the network can see everyone else's traffic. An attacker connected to a hub can passively capture everything flowing through it without doing anything clever. You won't find hubs in modern networks. One can hope. Switches have replaced them entirely, but they still appear on Security Plus and Network Plus exams. And understanding why they were replaced is the key to understanding why switches matter. A switch looks like a hub, a box with a bunch of Ethernet ports, but operates very differently. It keeps track of which device is on which port using a MAC address table. When data arrives for a specific device, the switch sends it only to that device's port. Nobody else sees it. Back to Sarah. A switch walks directly to Sarah and hands her a note. Nobody else in the room knows what it says. Switches operate at layer 2 of the OSI model, making forwarding decisions based on MAC addresses. Layer 3 switches can also route traffic using IP addresses, blurring the line between switches and routers. Managed switches give you additional control over VLANs for segmentation, port security, and traffic monitoring. From a security perspective, switches are far better than hubs because traffic isolation makes casual eavesdropping harder. But switches are not bulletproof. MAC flooding can overwhelm a switch's address table, forcing it to behave like a hub. ARP spoofing lets attackers intercept traffic on a switched network. VLAN hopping can break out of network better than a hub, doesn't necessarily mean secure. In 2026, you'll also encounter virtual switches. In cloud environments like AWS, Azure, and GCP, virtual switches handle traffic between virtual machines and containers within the same network. VMware's vSwitch and Open vSwitch are common in data centers. They follow the same layer 2 principles as physical switches, but they are defined in software. If you are managing cloud security, understanding how virtual networking maps to these concepts is essential. So let's look at routers, the traffic directors. A router connects different networks. Your home router connects your local network to your ISP, which connects to the internet. In a business, routers connect the internal network to outside networks and connect separate internal segments. Routers make decisions based on IP addresses. When a packet arrives, The router checks the destination IP and decides where to send it next using a routing table, a map of known networks, and the best path to reach each one. If a switch is a mail clerk sorting letters within an office building, a router is the postal service figuring out how to get a letter from your city to another city entirely. Routers are critical for security because they sit at the boundary between networks. Routers are often the first or last device traffic passes through. Many include firewall functionality, access control list, and traffic filtering. If someone's attacking your network from the outside, the router is likely where you'll see it first. Modern enterprise networks increasingly use software-defined wide area networks, or SD-WANs. Instead of relying on expensive dedicated circuits between offices, SD-WAN uses software to intelligently route traffic across multiple connection types, such as broadband and MPLS, choosing the best path in real time. It's the same routing concept, but managed through a centralized software controller instead of configuring each router manually. SD-WAN is where much of the security policy enforcement now happens, including zero-trust network access, encrypted tunnels, and application-aware routing. How do these devices work together? In a typical network, switches connect devices within the same network. All the computers on one floor, all the servers in one rack. Routers connect that network to other networks, the internet, another office, or a cloud environment. A simplified home setup. Your devices connect to your router's built-in switch ports or via Wi-Fi. The router connects to your ISP's modem, which reaches the internet. Most home routers combine a router, switch, wireless access point, and a basic firewall into one box. In enterprise networks, these are separate, dedicated devices with much more capability and configurability. In cloud environments, the same architecture exists, but it's all software defined. Virtual switches connect virtual machines. Virtual routers direct traffic between subnets. Security groups and network ACLs act as firewalls. Internet gateways connect private networks to the public network. The concepts are identical. The implementation, however, is different. Understanding where each device sits helps you answer critical security questions. Where should I place my monitoring tools? Where can an attacker pivot? Where should segmentation boundaries be? Where does traffic enter and leave my network? Let's do a quick comparison. Hubs sends data to all ports, no intelligence, no security benefits, obsolete, exam knowledge only. A switch sends data only to the correct port, uses MAC addresses, layer 2, standard in every modern network. Virtual equivalents are found in the cloud. Router connects different networks, uses IP addresses, and makes forwarding decisions via a routing table. Controls network boundaries. SD-WAN is the modern evolution. These three devices form the backbone of network infrastructure, physical and virtual. Knowing what each does and where it sits comes up constantly in interviews, certification exams, and actual security work. When you are looking at a network diagram and figuring out where an attacker might pivot or where to place a monitoring tool, you need to know what you're looking at. Next up, firewalls, the device that decides what traffic gets in and what gets blocked. Subscribe so you don't miss it.